Hello BMs, welcome to my channel. This is Bodfash. It's been a long time here and I have really missed you guys. So today we are going to be recreating this Bubu gown from Total Niger on IG, and the second video you're seeing right now is my recreation, though I tweak it to my own preference, but I'll be teaching you how to get the first design. Also, this dress came with a cut together pocket and a showcase design in front. If this is what you're interested in, please stick around and let's get started. So the total fabric I used was 2 yards of Ankara, and I started around 7:45 a.m. because I was going to somewhere, and I finished this outfit in less than 2 hours. So what I did was I folded my fabric into two because I already know the full length of what I needed, and then I went ahead to fold it in the middle into two again, which is what I am showing you guys right now. This is because I do not want a joining at the shoulder. Afterward, I went ahead to take my shoulder to my bust measurement, which is 10.5 inches, my shoulder to my half length, which is 17.5 inches, and like I stated earlier, the full length of my dress is 37 inches. Now I'll just go ahead and align this line I just marked. We are going to move on to the next step, which is to mark the neck width and the neck depth. So for this outfit, I took a neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 1.5 inch because it is cut together, and I want to mark the back neck depth before cutting out the front neck. I'm sorry I didn't note my camera wasn't capturing this part. For the sleeve opening, I'm going to be using my bust point, but please make sure to watch the end of this video because I later increased it. What I'm going to do next is to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. I added 1.5 inch for my ease allowance and 1 inch for my sewing allowance. If you want your dress to be exactly the same as the inspiration, please make sure to add at least 3 to 4 inch ease allowance. I repeated the same thing at the half length. I marked my half length divided by 4 plus 1.5 inch ease allowance and 1 inch sewing allowance. But for the hemline, I marked my hip measurement divided by 4, added 2 inch ease allowance and 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'll just go ahead and connect everything as you see me do. But like I stated earlier, if you want it to be free, please make sure to add 3 to 4 inch ease allowance on your dress. So what you see me do now is I'm marking my waist to my hip measurement because I wanted to know where I want my pocket to stop, and that was 1 inch below my hip line. So now I went ahead to mark that and I cuffed it just the way you see me do. So like I stated earlier, if you want to get this dress and you want to have ease allowance, or you want it to be as free as the inspiration, make sure you're using more than 2 yards of Ankara. Let it be at least 3 yards to 4 yards. So I went ahead to cut the neckline, and now I came down from the bust line by 2 inches because I wanted the sleeve to be free. I didn't want it to be too fitted. So that is what you see me do right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So now I am done cutting, and I want to cut out the front neckline where the Aso Oke will be added. So what I did was I marked 3 inches, that's the neck width, from the shoulder to the hemline. Now you'll notice that there's no joining at the shoulder. So I'll open up my fabric, and then I went ahead to fold it into two just the way you see me do. And I'll go ahead and cut out the 3 inches I marked from the shoulder to the hemline. Please watch what I am doing. We are done with the cutting of our dress. Simple, right? Absolutely. If you're into ready to wear, trust me, you can cut 5 to 7 dresses a day using this simple method. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure the round circumference of this gown starting from one hemline to the other. So what I got was 85 inches, which was what I used to cut on my Aso Oke. So for this Aso Oke, it was difficult for me to get it in pieces because of the quality. So what I did was I bought half a bundle of it, and at the end of the day I used about 2.5 piece of the Aso Oke. That's both for the sleeve and the cape in front. So if you're buying, you could buy in pieces, like 3 pieces, just to be on the safe side. But this was from have a bundle of Aso Oke, and I still had a lot left. So I went ahead to cut 90 inches length, which is what you saw me do. So this is what it is, and there's no joining. The next thing I'll do is I'll just take it to my ironing board and I'll iron it and fold it into half. I'm done ironing the Aso Oke and I folded it into half, and this is what we have. To determine the front neck depth, you are going to be measuring everything from the back to the front. So what I did was I placed my measuring tape from the shoulder to how deep I want my front neckline to be, which was 7.5 inches, and then I now took that 7.5 inch and placed on my shoulder measurement and took it to the back. So at the end of the day, I got 12 inches. So this Aso Oke is going to be on fold, and then you mark your desired measurement. Though I later changed this to 13 inches there because I noticed that the 12 inches I marked was a bit too tight. Let's take this to our sewing machine. First of all, I'm going to be joining the gown, starting from the sleeve through to the armhole to the pocket and down to the hemline with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. This is because I didn't want the dress to be too fitted. So initially I sewed with 1 inch because that was what I kept. But when I tried it on, I noticed that it was too fitted. Like, it wasn't looking like a BouBou gown anymore. So I had to reduce the sewing allowance. Now look at how this cut together pocket is looking really wide. Like, there's nothing stopping it, it's just flowing. So what I'm going to be doing here is this. To reduce the wideness of this cut together pocket, what I did was at the hip line, that's where my pocket opening stops, I came up by 3 inches. You can come up by 3 to 4 inches. Then I sewed with 1 inch sewing allowance, and then I backstitch that point. So from that point I backstitch, that's where the 3 inches stop. I marked 5.5 inch for my pocket opening. So I went ahead to place my machine on that 5 where the 5 inch stop, and I sewed it to blend into the sewing allowance that you sewed with your dress. Please, if this is not clear, watch this video again or let me know in the comment section, so I'll do a pocket tutorial just for this alone. But at the end of the day, you will notice that your pocket is closed up a little bit. It's not as wide as it was before. So guys, if this was helpful, please share with your friends and loved ones. And see the second one that I haven't done, I'll go ahead and do the same thing. Now that I'm done with this, I'm going to work on the Aso Oke. So from the 13 inch mark, I'm going to start sewing from that point to the hem of this Aso Oke, just the way you see me doing in this video. And now I'm just going to open up the Aso Oke as you see me do. And since I've already ironed it into half, you'll notice that the stripe side is outside here, which is exactly what the inspiration video is. And if this is the part you want to use, you're just going to attach it to the opening of the gown. I'm going to be showing you a sewing tutorial on how that is done. You could use the other part, which is the part I later on used and attached it. So let's go ahead and pin this to the gown opening and then bring it back to our sewing machine and stitch it together. Initially, I wanted to make this dress exactly as the inspiration, but when I placed this Aso Oke stripe side by side with my fabric, I noticed that the design got mixed up with my print, because the designs on my Ankara fabric are placed vertically. So I just felt like I wasn't feeling the vibe as much, and immediately I turned it the other way around and got this bold design. I was like, voila, this is it. I felt like this was bolder and it was finer. Please let me know in the comment section what you think. And if you prefer the first design, please go ahead and do the same. I'm going to measure the circumference of the sleeve. It was out of my camera and I'm very sorry about this, but I think I got the width of my sleeve to be about 25 inches. That's plus sewing allowance. So I'll be cutting this on my Aso Oke. That means the total length of my Aso Oke is going to be 50 inches long. That's for both sides of my sleeves. This part of the video, you will want to pay attention to it because you have to trim off the striped side of the Aso Oke. If you've worked with an Aso Oke fabric before, you understand that what I am doing here is very risky because these fabrics fray a lot. They are woven fabric, so there are different methods of safeguarding this, that's stopping it from loosening totally. One of them is you either use a hot scissors to cut it so it will melt those fray, or you use a light or matchstick to burn the frays once you're done cutting, or you use your serging machine, and the final one is you hem it. That is what I'm going to go for right now because I was in a hurry, so I'm just going to hem this before attaching it to my sleeve. So now let's take this to our sewing machine and do what I just said. So guys, the first thing I'll be doing is I'm going to be adding the front design, from the neckline, that's the midpoint of our dress. I'm going to be sewing the right side, or where I want the Aso Oke to display, to the right side of my fabric. I'm going to be repeating the same thing with the other side of my Aso Oke. So again, I will start from the midpoint of my gown, that's the back neckline at the midpoint, and then I'm going to sew it from that point to the hem of the dress. Now I am done sewing all of this, and this is the wrong side of my dress and it's looking beautiful. And again, you could make this wrong side the right side of your dress. I love Aso Oke because it doesn't have a wrong or a right side. It's better you have excesses and trim it off than for it not to be enough. So that part I trimmed off, I'm going to serge it so that it doesn't loosen. Now for the sleeve part of this Aso Oke, which is the last part of it, so I'm just going to go ahead and hem it, which is what you see me do. Now I want to fix this on my sleeve. Because I cut this in excess, I'm not going to close it up before fixing it on my sleeve. I mean, you could easily take the round circumference of your sleeve again, mark it on the Aso Oke, close it up, and then attach it to the sleeve. What I'll be doing is I'm going to push out at least 3/4 inch, and then that's from the underarm joining, and then I'll join this Aso Oke because I want to join it open. I'm trying to get a design here, which is I want that white line to show outside of my sleeve. So I just place the right side of the Aso Oke, the part I want to be outside. In this scenario, there's no right or wrong side, so just the side I want to be attached to the sleeve, that's the white line, carefully sewed on the brown line, which is what you see me do. And once I got to the end of it, whatever excesses I had there, I close it up and trim off the sewing allowance. Yes, there's going to be another frame part, so at this point you could just use your lighter to burn it out. And I'll go ahead to do the same thing to the second part of my sleeves, and we are done with this tutorial. So guys, if you watched to this point of this video, please like, share with your friends, drop a comment. Are you happy seeing me? And do you have any video, any request? And please do well to send me your videos or your pictures or whatever it is you want me to recreate. See our next video. Do have a blessed day and stay safe. Love you guys. Bye.